Today I'm going to show you how to put cash in your pocket by tearing old generators and starters apart. Here's what we got to work with. Got 3 old generators and 1 old starter off a tractor. Let's start taking them apart. This is a starter off an older tractor. You got a few bolts on the end here to take off. Doesn't take a lot of effort to get these apart, get the copper out of them. You really don't need a lot of tools to take some of this stuff apart. It's just a few of the necessities, a hammer, a chisel. It helps if you have an impact wrench, but it's not necessary. You can just use a ratchet or a regular wrench. Now, in order to get the copper out of the armatures, you're going to have to burn those off because there's a coating on them that you're not going to get that copper out of there. The older motors and starters, they have a lot more copper than the new ones. A lot of the new ones are aluminum windings, and it's a waste of your time taking them apart. You don't want to mess around with that and take apart the ones with the aluminum windings. It takes too much time and you don't make anything. Sometimes I'll tear it apart anyway just to show the viewers how much money you'll actually make on it. Now, if you're not afraid of getting your hands a little bit dirty, this is a pretty good trade to get into, tearing junk apart to make extra money. There's still a lot of scrap out there that you can get. A lot of people got full-time jobs and they ain't got time to mess around with this stuff. So that leaves it open for the people that need extra money. Just go around and ask the people in your neighborhood if they got any scrap they're throwing out. And most of the time, if they have some, they'll let you have it. And once they know that you're scrapping, they'll keep an eye out for you and let you know if they got something. And that helps out bring a little extra cash in your pocket. The biggest problem with scrapping is the fluctuation in the prices. They go up and down all the time. And the last couple loads we brought in, the prices went down 15%. The steel doesn't really pay as much as it did 2-3 weeks ago, but that's how the market works. So you just gotta kind of save it up if it's low priced, and cash it in when it's high. Just keep an eye on the market, call up there and ask them what the prices are. Now there's a few flathead screws on the side of these starters and motors. You're gonna need a large screwdriver or an impact screwdriver. I use a chisel and knock them loose, then finish taking them apart with a screwdriver. That's the easiest way for me. I try to give the viewers that are interested in tearing junk apart a few pointers and a few items that they could take apart to make them the most money for their time. There's a lot of items you can waste your time on and not make very much money. You don't want to get wrapped up in that. You want to try to find the stuff that's got copper or brass in it. That makes you the most money. You have the aluminum. If it's torn apart already, that's not too bad. But if you got to waste too much time taking it apart, you're really only making a couple dollars an hour. Myself, it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to tear it apart anyway. But a lot of the viewers, they may not want to waste that amount of time on taking it apart. I'm trying to show the viewers a few pointers and tricks to help them make the most money for the shortest amount of time involved. The more scrap you take apart, you learn your own tricks and your own ways to do it a little bit faster. It all takes time. I learned a few pointers along the way, and it's taken me years to learn the fastest way to take stuff apart. Sometimes you do it the hard way for a while and you figure out an easier way. If you got somebody that can help you, give you a few pointers, you might as well try that way and see if it works for you. One of the biggest parts to learning about scrapping is learning your metals, learning what they are and what they look like. And the biggest pointer for new scrappers is get a magnet. If the magnet don't stick to it, then you got a valuable metal that you can work with. Some of the stuff is difficult to tear apart and it takes a lot more time than what it's worth. I tear it apart to show the viewers exactly how much time it's going to take them and they can figure out if it's worth their time or not. Now, a good way to find scrap is ask around and find out when the local garbage day is. You go out a day before and look around town, and I always like to ask the people if they're throwing it out, because sometimes kids will put their bikes up against the dumpsters and you don't want to take something that someone's not throwing out. And sometimes if you take the time to ask the people if they're throwing it out, you kind of get to know them and they'll feel a little more comfortable with you out there taking the stuff, and they'll put it aside just for you. And also, if you ask them, sometimes they have other stuff that they're going to get rid of and they'll ask you if you want it, and it helps add to the scrap pile. I estimate there's another 3 or 4 pounds of copper in the armatures. Good communication is a key factor to helping you get a lot of scrap. You get to know the people and talk to people, and they're looking out for you. Once you talk to them one time, usually they don't have no problem with you going there. They recognize your vehicle, and it's not a problem for you to pick the stuff up. Break the ice and talk to the people. Get the permission, so you don't have any problems in the future. The last thing you need is somebody upset because you took something that they wasn't trying to throw out and the police get involved. You don't need all that kind of drama because you're just trying to make a few extra bucks. Take the time and ask the people and get their permission. Now, a lot of other YouTube scrappers, I never see them ask the people, only if they see them. I know that people probably don't want you bothering them, knocking on their door, asking if they're going to throw it out. But in the end, that's the best way to do it. Once you do that once, you're good to go. Then you can go back there every week and pick up the stuff, and you don't have to bother them. They're okay with you out there taking the stuff. They'll actually put it aside for you. And also, in my case, sometimes it gives me side jobs because I do handyman work, and I start talking to the people and get to know them on a personal basis. Most of the people around here, they already know me, they know our vehicle, and they know we're just out there looking for scrap. Once in a while, you get someone that's upset that you're out there messing around. We just don't go back to that place, pass by it, so it don't cause no problems. Personally, I've never had any problem with taking the scrap that people throw out because I've always took the time to ask them and talk to them. The last thing you need to do is give yourself a bad name, not taking the time to talk to people and getting in a bunch of trouble over taking something you ain't supposed to. So I encourage the new scrappers that are going around looking for it, take the time and talk to the people. Let their minds at ease so they ain't think you out there trying to steal nothing. It's better for both of you. Another good time to look for scrap is after community garage sales. People throw a lot of stuff out. Take the time and ask them to make sure that they're throwing it out.